Hi there, I'm Dr. Alessandra Latour, founder of the Latour Leadership Academy. For more than 16 years, I've helped leaders at every level move from overwhelmed and reactive to clear, confident, and strategic in how they lead. This podcast is where we get real about leadership. We'll talk about the patterns, habits, and pressures that shape how we show up, and more importantly, how to grow through them. Here, you'll learn practical tools for leading authentically, building trust on your team, communicating effectively, and making decisions that reflect your values, not someone else's expectations. Leadership is a skill, one you can learn, strengthen, and embody with intention. So, if you're ready to lead with more clarity, confidence, and presence, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, we're talking about something senior leaders rarely admit out loud, even to themselves: loneliness. Not the kind you feel when you're working late or missing dinner with your family. I'm talking about the specific, heavy kind that shows up when you're the one people look to, but you don't always know who you can look to. If you're an executive, a senior VP, a director, anyone high enough in the hierarchy that people assume you have it all figured out, this episode is especially for you. Because leadership at the top is full of pressure, responsibility, and expectation, but not always connection. Let's talk about why it happens, what it feels like, and how to build support systems that actually strengthen your leadership instead of making you feel exposed or weak. Here's the truth you already know. The higher you rise, the fewer people you can truly talk to. You can't confide downward, not without causing unnecessary stress. You can't confide sideways all the time because your peers are dealing with their own political pressures. And you can't always confide upward because your challenges might be tied to the people above you. So what happens? Many senior leaders begin to internalize everything: the pressure, the uncertainty, the people problems, the decisions that can affect tens, hundreds, or thousands, the fear of making the wrong call, the exhaustion that comes from being always on. And since leaders at this level are often praised for being strong or steady, loneliness gets misinterpreted as a lack of resilience, when in reality, it's a normal and predictable psychological experience. If this is resonating, I want you to hear this clearly. Feeling lonely as a leader is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign you're human. I'll tell you something I wish someone had told me earlier in my career. When I stepped into my first big leadership roles, I thought the loneliness was a sign I wasn't cut out for higher level work. I assumed everyone else at my level had secret support systems that I just hadn't found yet. Spoiler alert, they didn't. I remember sitting in meetings with other leaders, all of us nodding confidently, joking, making decisions, and I could still feel this quiet sense of being on my own. I was surrounded by people, but I didn't feel supported. If you felt that too, you're not imagining it. Leadership changes the social ecosystem around you, not because people don't care, but because your role shifts the way they interact with you. This is why building support system isn't just helpful, it's essential for your clarity, for your decision making, for your emotional health, and for your longevity as a leader. Let's dig into the why. First, power distance increases isolation. The moment you become someone's boss, you change how safe they feel being vulnerable with you, even if you're the most approachable person in the world. Second, the higher the stakes, the fewer people you feel comfortable disappointing. This can make you hold things in even when you need help. Third, leaders often equate vulnerability with liability, as if asking for perspective or support means you're unqualified. But here's what decades of leadership research actually shows. The strongest leaders have consistent, intentional support systems. Weak leaders isolate themselves. There's nothing admirable about white-knuckling your way through leadership, and there's nothing weak about asking for strategic support. So let's get to the part senior leaders really need: how to create support without feeling like you're admitting failure. Here are 4 grounded leadership level strategies. Number 1, build a peer circle outside your organization. Executives need peers who don't report to them, don't compete with them, and don't evaluate them. This could be a leadership cohort, a mastermind group, a networking circle, or a professional organization. When you talk to peers outside your organization, you get unbiased thinking, grounded perspective, and a safe place to be honest. Number 2, invest in a leadership coach. And yes, even if you're already successful, this helps. Coaching isn't therapy, remedial, or a sign you're in trouble. It's a strategic asset. Every elite performer, I'm talking athletes, CEOs, artists, they all invest in guidance because decision fatigue is real, blind spots exist, and self-reflection is hard to do alone. A coach becomes your sounding board, perspective check, challenge partner, and strategic confidant. And most importantly, a coach keeps you from becoming your own biggest obstacle. Number 3, create one internal relationship that is 100% built on trust. This is not about having that work best friend. It's about identifying one person inside the organization with whom you can safely talk strategy and challenges. This might be another director, someone in a different department, a seasoned colleague, or a longstanding partner. And trust here doesn't mean venting, it means clarity. Someone who helps you think out loud without politicizing what you said. Number 4, build support up, not just across or down. Even senior leaders forget this. You're allowed to ask your own boss for support. Not emotional support, but strategic support. You can try asking, here's what I'm thinking, can I get your perspective? Or what would success look like here from your vantage point? Or is there anything I might not be considering? These questions build stronger alignment and break the isolation cycle. So you're not alone even when it feels like you are. Loneliness doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It means you're carrying a level of responsibility that fewer people understand. And instead of waiting for support to magically appear, you get to architect it intentionally. You get to build a network that strengthens you, professionally and personally, so you're not leading from depletion or isolation. Because leadership is not about being untouchable, it's about being resourced. Thanks for joining me today. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to remember this. Being a senior leader doesn't mean you have to be a solitary one. Your strength is not in holding everything alone. It's in knowing when and how to create support that amplifies your leadership. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me today. If this episode resonated, I'd love for you to continue the conversation with me. Head on over to latourleadershipacademy.com. You'll find leadership tools, programs, and free resources designed to support your growth at every stage of your leadership journey. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to our weekly leadership newsletter. It's where I share fresh insights, reflection prompts, and strategies you won't hear anywhere else. Thanks for spending your time here. Keep leading with intention, and I'll see you in the next episode.